All right, welcome back to the channel, everybody. Aesop Grim here, and we're going to continue our CK3 passive playthrough here. That's what I think I'm going to call it. We're in the HRE. I have never played in the HRE before, and this is really just supposed to be for the vibe. This is on the lead up to Christmas. I love to play this game during this time of year, and I'm just trying to role play as a good vassal. Just trying to raise a family. I am a noble, so I'm better off than many of the peasants who live in this area, but the peasants are my responsibility, and I don't have great ambitions of expanding or anything like that. I'm just going to try and marry my kids off to good matches and see what the game throws my way. One of the reasons I enjoy doing this kind of a playthrough, like even in my own time, is that I did this one time just on a whim years ago. I played over here, and no, I'm sorry, it was over here, and France invaded, and we got this area, and I went and I actually kind of helped take Barcelona. Normally I don't do that. I'm usually just focused whenever I'm doing this kind of a playthrough. I'm just focused on my land. But my guy had a good reputation and stuff, and then one day I woke up and I mean, shockingly, like the way that the colors were showing and all, I was just like, all of this was mine. And what had happened is that my dude was of such a good reputation that an election came up for a king and they elected me. So you never know what will come your way in this game. And sometimes doing a passive playthrough where you have absolutely no ambitions is you get rewarded with the greatest things. So we'll see how it plays out. Exercise and mediation. When the raised voices reach me yet again, I quench my instinct to turn on my heel. The constant bickering of my vassal's Mayor Alaramo. Man, the older I get, the lazier my tongue gets. And Mayor Lydia is enough to drive any man mad. Something must be done. Something must be done. I could either treat the situation as an exercise in mediation or eavesdrop and approach one of them with my sympathies. Well, our guy is decent at subterfuge, but I am trying to roleplay as an honest person, right? I'm Catholic, so I'm going to try. I don't know a lot about Catholicism or anything. Maybe I know more than some Protestants do because I did go to school and got a degree that looks at some of these things. So I have some knowledge, but just not a whole lot, not a lot of experience. But one thing I don't know quite how to phrase it, but something I'm certain of is that virtues, there are cardinal sins and there are virtues that you're supposed to strive for. So honesty being one of them. And that's kind of what I'm role playing as, is that somebody who is very devoted to their faith, a family man, not ambitious, more just trying to be a good steward of what the Lord has given him. So we're going to be honest. See, if I were role playing the character, I would go with the intrigue. But I'm not. So what do we have here? Try to make them see sense. Or pick a side. Okay, we'll try to make them see sense. I come across as an insensitive meddler. Alright, so they're both upset at me. And that's the risks you take, but we're trying to walk that line, as Johnny Cash would say, you know? That was such a good movie that Joaquin Phoenix did. Joaquin, I mean. It's an M, not an N. Just a really everybody was good in that. I don't know all the different people's names, but that movie was really, really well done. I watched the Bob Dylan movie recently. It was okay. You know, but that's coming from somebody that's not a huge Dylan fan. So I think the more of a fan you are, the more maybe backstory that you have, the as long as you're willing to accept that they're going to have to take some creative licenses, the more that you can enjoy films like that, biopics, you know. For me, I just thought it was kind of okay, but it was well acted. I hear, you know, I look at the trailers and I don't think it looks very good, but I've heard that the Elvis movie is it's not like it's a smash, you know, like the Johnny Cash movie with Joaquin Phoenix was legitimately a great movie. Sometimes some of these other movies, they're not always the greatest movies, but for what you're trying to get out of it, like you just want to see maybe how things were like for this really famous person, they can deliver in other areas. And supposedly the performance by the guy who played Elvis was universally considered absolutely terrific, which I find a little bit surprising just because, you know, I look at that trailer and I'm like, you know, but I might have to give it a shot. I just read the reviews seem to be generally positive. We're going to take this. All right, 1076 AD. I believe, didn't our daughter come of age? We got her married off, right? Yeah, we married her matrilineally. They already got so we've got a grandkid. They've got a kid. We have a grandkid. Yeah, Claudia, that's right. Claudia, who are you being? You're not being guardianed. Why not? Here, we'll make it ourselves. That was kind of a serious oversight. I wonder how that got missed. Normally the game tells me. Maybe I just blundered in that area. How old is Claudia? How late are we on that? Ah, she's 2 years old, man. She's been... Yeah, oh well. Okay. Well, hopefully we can make up for lost time there. That was an oversight for somebody that's trying to be a family man. Now, obviously, the downsides to playing like this is that you can't really grow your family dynasty as well. It's a slower thing, so you don't get into those perks, you know, as fast, and you certainly don't have control over your culture. You know, you're not a duke or anything. So there's an awful lot of things you miss out on in the game when you play in my style. But I think story-wise, it's quite a bit of fun. Oh no, she's wheezing. Elena, a second grandchild. Wow, Matilda here is really doing well. She's only 19 years old and she's married and has 2 children already. That sounds like the beginning of a success story to me. Let's take learning education, because that's what I always do with the girls. And then we will assign you, I guess I'll be the guardian here as well until a boy comes along. We're at 191 gold. What can we do with that? We can upgrade our castle. Let's maybe take a look at what that does for us. So we are constructing a Bailey. Okay, so the Bailey is going to move us up to 0.4 ducats a month. Give us a +2 fort level. Reduce danger by 2. Heavy cav, we don't have heavy cav, so that's not applicable. Give us an additional 300 garrison and 300 supply limit. This will be done in 8 months. That's those stewardship perks going to work for us. And there's the current building. So we're at 0.25 a month right now. +1 fort level, -1 danger, and 150 garrison. Okay, so it's almost doubling in just about everything. What's this? Sculptor's Workshop investment, that's right. Okay. My daughter and heir Matilda has given birth to a son. Man, this is fast. Well, what are these birth dates? I know 9 months haven't passed. All right, well, this is going to be our heir then, is it not? Or is it still her? It says it's still her, Matilda. Araprando. And I will educate you in diplomacy. Now I have to go to myself. And I need to pass on Elena to... How do we do this? Remove Guardian. And let's make it her mom, Countess, or Grandma, 18 in diplomacy. Oof. Well, I have better stats overall. I was thinking about maybe having our son educated by our wife, but I think I would still be better overall. Matilda. Okay, and oh, these are our kids, not our grandkids. So our wife Matilda has been having these children. I thought it was our daughter Matilda, but this is our daughter Matilda's first child. So 19 years old, she has her first kid. Okay. How old are we? We're 51. How old is she? Only 36. Wow, so she's actually got childbearing years left. Not really sure what else to look at here. I am trying to keep this a very calm playthrough. My hope is that people can actually use something like this to go to sleep. That's one of the ways, I talk about this every time I play CK3, that's one of the ways I got started in YouTube, is that there was a point in my life towards the end of my career in the Air Force that I was just like exceptionally stressed out. I didn't really realize it at the time because I'm one of those personalities that can't really detect that in the moment. It's only with 20/20 hindsight. But I was like teetering on the edge of a breakdown and stuff. And one of the only ways that I could go to sleep was listening to this YouTuber named J2 John Jeremy narrate long playthroughs of Crusader Kings 2. And I was, as somebody interested in history and in gameplay, it was just fun. He had a really good knack of being able to see what all was going on in the world, and he just knew how to narrate that game at a deeper level than I do. But he had a calm voice, and his playthroughs always created these interesting stories, and I could just drift off to sleep, and it helped a whole lot. And so I'm always kind of hoping that maybe that's how I got started. My channel came up in 2020 when I started realizing that me as an introvert, I'm kind of built for something like quarantine. But, I have a brother who's a social butterfly. And so I understand that people who are socially related, that was a real serious mental health crisis, like a threat, when it comes to mental health. And so I started making videos for people to be able to listen to or play in the background while in isolation as just an attempt to provide some sort of outlet that kept people from going stir crazy. So you see how all this ties to the J2 Giant. There's a lot of empathy involved in my channel, which can be conflicting because I have really, really incendiary views when it comes to political ideologies and things like that. But I'm telling you, that also comes from a place of empathy. I think that I'm not going to get into real deep into it because I'm not in that kind of mood. But I'll just tell you that I think that the left has some of the most anti-human, anti-civilizational ideologies on the planet, and they don't mean to. A lot of the people on the left are some of the kindest, most soft-hearted people you'll ever run into. But the ideals that they have embraced do the opposite of what they think it's going to do or what they've been sold on, because the politicians on the left and the movers and shakers on the left learned, in my opinion, this is where I'll wrap it up. In my opinion, it works really, really similar, guys, to young women getting preyed upon in a nightclub scene. A girl goes to a nightclub and she kind of has the idea that she wants to get picked up, and well, okay, I get that, right? But then you have players out there who understand. Maybe they grew up with 5 sisters. They understand female psychology. They know how to talk to them. They know what the fantasies are. They know what tempo and sort of body language vibe to give off to. It makes me think of the Counting Crows song. I can't remember what the song is called now all of a sudden, but it's from their first album, and I know that the lyric that I'm thinking of says wrap her up in a wrap her up in a net of lies and send her off to a coconut island, something like that. You see how manipulative that is? And it all comes from really understanding your audience and how to message. And that's what the left does. It manipulates people with a message that speaks to everything that their heart wants. Be kind, be loving, and then produces the absolute opposite. Just really, really terrible things. So even my incendiary side comes from a position of empathy. Yeah, that where I don't want to let the whole world into this country because I see these girls getting raped, So we'll kind of wrap it up there. There could be a lot more to that, and people would argue with me and stuff, but I'll just leave it at that. A guild of stonemasons has established itself in the county of Treviso. Having dedicated craftsmen in my personal service could help the region flourish. I'm going to try and work this out myself. 27 and 45% for some kind of success. Oh, this one is a little bit better. Oh, because we have a very good steward. Okay, I don't mind delegating. In that case, I don't mind delegating. It didn't really tell me. Oh, okay. Enrico has returned to me with an offer from the Masons Guild. I inspected their records, my liege. I do not believe a better deal can be struck. We get cooperative stonemasons for 20 years. Construction time reduced by 25%. Construction cost reduced by 10%. Okay. Let's, we better take a look at where this plague is at. Arnold's flu, right up here. Okay. We're at 82 gold. Can we upgrade our docks? Probably not. We'll need 225. We are making 4.3 ducats a month, so that has gone up. I believe we started at 3.2. Are we able to see anything popping off in the world? Sicily formed. I think that was actually in the last episode. The nation of Sicily formed. Capua is no longer independent. It's been folded into the kingdom of Sicily. I said the nation, I meant the kingdom. Sicily? Oh, you know what? Wow. How did this happen? This must have been through inheritance, because they ate into the Byzantine Empire a little bit. Wow. Sardinia exists. Leon and Castile. There's Navarra has expanded. Aragon has formed. Barcelona. The Muslims may have something going on right here. If they can coalesce power, they could threaten some of these smaller kingdoms. But Leon has gotten strong. They have incorporated Portugal. The vast majority of what would be present-day Portugal into their kingdom. Scotland up here as the Kingdom of Alba. Oh, this reminds me. Remember last episode where I was looking and I saw that one of the most wealthy places on the planet at this time was over here in East Africa, and I was talking about how that surprised me, and that I was thinking, like, I could see maybe their resources being really valuable, but their entire economy and stuff, and I was saying maybe I have some misconceptions. Well, I remembered. It's the year that we're in. We're playing, like, I always forget how early this stuff really is. And look, our wife is pregnant again. I remembered learning in my Western Civilization history class in college. I took Western Civ 1 and 2. And I remembered learning that by the time we reached the age of sail, which I don't know what exact date that is, but it's later than where we're at. It's in like the 13th century or something. The African nations and European nations are really on par. But when Europe begins to dabble in navigation, and they eventually learn how to deep sea navigate so that they don't have to stay close to coastlines anymore, that's what really opens up the gap, because now exploration is on the table, and then trade, right? Trade and the importation of valuable market items that are hard to find in these areas but prolific in these areas, and eventually these areas out here. And that's what really, it's just the gap explodes between this continent and this one. And these guys here just leap forward like they got rocket boosters on. With a tired yet blissful smile, Matilda presents me with a perfect little daughter, Lavinia. All right, let's hit pause. Lavinia will be educated in education, and we will let our brother-in-law, yeah, maybe. I mean, he's got a 15 in learning. We should do that. All right, there you go. I was going to give her to our wife, but brother-in-law was a good choice. So that actually explains. So I actually knew that. I just had forgotten it. But that explains why this place is one of the wealthiest places on the planet, is that at this point in time in history, everybody in this in this huge region here is pretty much on par. Over in the east, they're ahead, if I'm not mistaken. Economically, which is a good measurement of just in general how advanced a society is. At least historically speaking. I don't know if we would say that in the modern era, but historically speaking, if you can see land being developed and advancements being made that lead to the flourishing of people economically, it typically means there are strong leaders in place with good visions and ideologies that are advancing their peoples ahead of other peoples, right? So here in the East, I think, is maybe where some of the best things are happening around this age. But Europe is rising fast at this point in time, is what my impression would be. We'll take tax man, increasing tax effectiveness by 25%, and that brings us up to 4.4 ducats a month. So I'm somebody who has looked at history a lot, because I do believe that it's I believe in the idea, the sort of how we got here from there sort of idea. And I believe, as my history professor once put it, that history is really like the only laboratory we have for human behavior. When you look at history and you try to find parallels to problems that we're facing today, you can just see how large groups of people approach things, what they believed in, what some of the pitfalls are. But I don't go and do a whole lot of research before I start a playthrough. So almost everything you get from me is just off the cuff and whatever memories I have in my head from times that I was digging really hard. And that means that I may be wrong on a number of things, but I try to be accurate. Lots of disease spreading. Let's take a look at the world when it comes to disease. Here we go. So this is what's spreading really fast. Famine fever. And that's about the only place on the planet that's experiencing sickness. Yeah, it is actually the only place. Oh, that's interesting. All right, I don't think we're going to be able to sway him anymore. So we are going to move in to maybe our steward. Drunkard? Oh no. I'm at 196 gold. We need that 225. 214 already. Man, that was quicker than I expected. I was kind of looking at what was going on up here. Guess I should click here. Corinthian War for Count Gebhard's claim on the Duchy of Swabia. Oh, that's my guy, isn't it? My liege? It's Duke Ugo of Lombardy. Margrave Ernst of Austria. Heinrich of Stade. And here's my... Okay, this is the overall guy, and he's my liege. Oh, he's sick, man. I thought he was my liege. He's 19 years old. Oh, he's got consumption. My goodness. So this is who? Duke Berthold of Swabia. Well, who are we under? Oh, it's a different Duke Berthold. Our Duke is the one attacking. And he's attacking for the Duchy of Swabia. Right here. Obviously not adjacent to our own area. Margrave Ottokar of Steiermark has announced to the world that he and his vassals have converted to Waldensianism. Let's see what that is all about. It's a heresy for the Catholics, holding that the accumulation of wealth is an anathema that is incompatible with achieving salvation. Oh, so this is like a... Oh, what was that word? I want to say aesthetic, but that's not the right word. Man, it'll come to me later. Waldensians preach apostolic poverty as being the path to perfection and believe that priests should hold neither titles nor lands. Okay, so this would be kind of a kickback, perhaps, against the lucrativeness that people are noticing the church has overall, which they wouldn't have a problem with except for corruption, right? This is the problem when you start living in something like a theocracy, is that there are people of means that are not born into the right bloodlines. And so something like the church becomes one of the only available escalators, and they're plenty competent. They don't actually believe in any of it, or they're not very committed to that. They are there for their own purposes. Well, that's corruption, you know. What twisted mockery of our faith is this? We are a good Catholic, so that's the position we will take. Ruler embraces heresy. All right. Yep, so it's spreading. We can now upgrade our docks, I believe. So currently, we're making 0.35 ducats a month, and we're getting 5% development growth, plus 5%. We're going to upgrade to 0.55 a month and plus 10%. Find out who the players are. So this is our guy, and he is allied with the Duke of Lombardy. This is their guys. Okay, so this army right here is for us an enemy army. Here's our people up here. There is something peculiar about my spymaster mare Lydia. Is it the way she smiles? Look at this crone. The unmistakable peal of her laughter, or perhaps her unwavering iron will. I cannot quite put my finger on it, but at least one thing I know for sure. When I am in her presence, I find it hard to focus on anything else. Alright, well our dude's like 52 or 53. He's 56 years old. So I guess she's not a crone to him. But this is unacceptable behavior. I refuse to be distracted by anyone. Well, no, I would like to be distracted by our wife, who is much, much younger. 41 years old. She's given us 4 kids, man. What the heck? Show some appreciation and loyalty. My goodness. This is the great thing about dudes, man. I mean, maybe this is... I'm painting with broad strokes here, because this is not true of all guys. But, like, kind of in general, we may have emotions or feelings come up, but we have the agency to just dismiss that shiznit. Like, that will not be part of my reality. I reject it wholeheartedly. and we can actually make that happen, you know, within ourselves. My wife, Countess Matilda, eagerly brings a man before me. My count, allow me to introduce you to Romanos, claimant to the county of Epiros. Yeah, good luck with that. Okay, so whenever she's really good at diplomacy, she finds people that have titles. That must be what's going on there, because that's the second person she's brought to us with those same circumstances. Well, we're at 4.5 ducats a month. Are we still constructing? Oh, we're almost done. 2 days left. There we go. Now we're at 4.7. Excellent. Next is going to be the Pilgrim's Quarters. That's going to take 225 gold as well. Focused student. +1 learning. Nice. We got 300 stewardship experience out of that. Defensive measures. Fort level +1, garrison size +20%. Not bad. That's not bad. Liege's war ends. And our guy won. Okay. So he now has the Duchy of Carinthia and the Duchy of Crane and the Duchy of Verona. All right. This is Carinthia here. Here is Swabia. Kaiser Heinrich. I don't understand what happened here. Oh, well, it was for his claim. Hold on. Where is that? Liege's war ends. Your liege, Duke Berthold of Carinthia, won his war against Duke Berthold of Swabia. What did he get out of it, though? Maybe he was being attacked. So that's the thing. I'm not good enough at the game to be able to really trace that backwards. I guess we were being attacked because I don't see where we picked up any land or anything. When I say we, I mean this dude, and he's our liege. We're part of his I want to say kingdom, but it's all part of the Holy Roman Empire, right? But Corinthia here. Venice. Did they take this land or did they already have it? I think they already had it. Entering into the summer of 1082. And we're slowly approaching 5 ducats a month. Yeah, the culture the culture tech is what I was trying to think of earlier. We don't own enough land to be the head of our culture, so we don't get to set the, you know, what we're studying and stuff like that. Mountain homes. The quarries line of buildings have additional bonuses in counties of this culture. Gain prestige when completing buildings and holdings with either mountains or desert mountains terrain. It increases hunt success chance in mountains and desert mountains. Negative 42 danger from mountains. Wow, for all cisalpine characters, and negative 42 for desert mountains. Development growth in mountains is increased 20%. Development growth in desert mountains is 35%. And we get a whole bunch of building construction reductions. In a few days' time, my evil vassal Duke Dietrich will travel through Friuli. You are of the same family as the Kaiser. Holy Roman Empire. Oh, you are the Kaiser, actually. I see. If you orchestrate an ambush and capture him, I will reward you generously. If you accept my offer, you'll get half of the money now and the other half. You turn over Duke Dietrich. If he should die in the fray, I will shed no tears, but I will not pay for his corpse. Okay, well, as a good Catholic, I need some sort of justification here, do I not? Or do I trust the will of the king? How would this work in real life? Orchestrate an ambush and capture him. Evil vassal. I think we would obey that order. It's not really an order, it's an offer. Okay, we're gonna say yes. I don't know, I could kind of make an argument both ways. I captured him. And we got 425 gold for that. Now, I didn't do it for the money. I did it because my king says that that guy is evil and wanted my help in apprehending him. So it's like the biblical passage of obey the laws of those who are put in authority over you because God raises everybody up, right? That's sort of the logic that I'm using. I think the game means this to be that we accepted a bribe. That's why I was sort of like, I don't know quite what to do here. But, no, I'm not going to keep them. We, are happy to do our king's bidding. Alright. Well, we have 959 gold now. So we can go ahead and upgrade Pilgrim's Quarters. And maybe go ahead and what would we do here? Maybe focus on military. Here's something that produces taxes and military, and we get knight effectiveness as well. And that seems pretty good. And we could stack that with hunting grounds as well. Let's build a blacksmith first. What do we have going on here? We can, oh, these are claims. I don't want claims. We're not endorsed by our bishop. So our old bishop died somehow. Oh, let's hit pause. New realm priest. Counselor Federigo. Fatal apoplexy. He was 71 years old. Your liege's regent has changed. Liege entered entrenched regency. Kaiser Heinrich V. That's our liege? That's our liege's liege. Is now sharing power in an entrenched regency. If a regency lasts too long, it may become entrenched, and the regent becomes even more powerful compared to their liege. The benefits the regent gets from the scales of power become much more powerful. To end an entrenched regency, the regent must accept a gift from their liege, or the liege must tip the scales in their favor. So I guess I assume, oh, he's a kid. So his pops just died. Heinrich IV died. Well, no, he died a while back. This is a different branch of the family, I guess. Well, at any rate, he is now the Holy Roman Emperor. He is Kaiser Heinrich V. And Duchess Ida was excommunicated. All right. Well, we're going to have to start a sway scheme. Let's, Duchy of Swabia. Let's go here. And title history. This was the guy that was in charge. Okay, yeah, he died about 6 months ago of stress. He was only 31 years old. Well, it was his dad. I don't know what got me confused here. Okay, because it does seem pretty clear. The Roman Catholic Church claims that Jesus bestowed the keys of the kingdom of heaven upon St. Peter, and that as his rightful successor, the Pope is therefore the supreme spiritual authority of the entire Christian world. Okay, as St. Peter's rightful successor. Gotcha. And the summer of 1083 is upon us. Got a lot of gold because we helped our king. We are building our properties up. Apparently, spit in my daughter Claudia's food during dinner a few nights ago. It seems as if Claudia is trying to tire out by not reacting to her bullying. No matter how many times calls her a troll spawn or slaps her across the cheek. So I think the trait calm is a good one. I like it. So we're going to let her keep that. You know where I got that sort of voice intonation, guys? In my guild, in World of Warcraft, there's a girl in my guild that she's got like this dry wit sense of humor. She's really, I think that her humor is I like it. She has a really nice sense of humor, like her style, and she can mimic the Murlocs like that. I don't remember even the context of how she brought this up, but we were all doing something together, and there was, I don't know, something was annoying us, and she just dropped that sound bite. I cannot do it justice. She does it so much better, but that's where I picked that up from. Child benefits. Okay, sick house constructed. Good. I like the people in my guild. I think that we have a lot of liberals in there, actually, but you know, the nice thing about World of Warcraft when you're playing video games with people is that a lot of times, as long as you don't get into the subjects, and I am one of the ones that are most notorious for kind of accidentally getting us into these subjects, but you kind of strip away the polarization of the time, and you just see people for their own personalities and kind of who they are, and we've got some neat people in our guild. Of course, you know, I've been told multiple times by different people across time periods that I see the good in everybody is like one of the ways that I'll be described and stuff. So I think that part of this is just me and my outlook. So maybe I would feel similar about another guild, but I do enjoy my guild. And it's run by two brothers. One of them is actually a leading member on the Falcons SB Nation site, and they do a very good job. And we have a core group of people that are just kind of fun to be around. Now, I haven't seen them in a long time because we're all kind of like on hiatus, but we're waiting for the Burning Crusade to come out, and we'll start up again then. No, so this, I think this kills him. Yeah, it does. Bonifacio is killed by you. Let's imprison him instead. So what happened here? A lowly chandler has been stealing from my court. The man cowers before me, sniveling about hungry children and mercy in the name of St. Joseph. Oh, so he stole stuff from the court in order to pay, well, he says, for, I guess, the destitute and les miserables, right? Les miserables, the unfortunates. Well, you still broke the law, man. You can't do that. I don't care how you want to justify it. You can't. Just because I have money doesn't mean that you're justified in coming and taking it from me forcibly. And then, on your word, a known thief going and spreading it amongst like your Robin Hood or something. That's just not the. There's another way of doing that. You're not doing it correctly. Welcome to prison. Gebhardt is not swayed. What if I send you a gift, Gebhardt? 100 gold, that's a lot. I think not. I think not, Gebhardt. I see what you're holding out for. You're trying to put the squeeze on me. We'll do fine with or without your blessing. How do you like them apples? We have a granddaughter. All right, let's take care of this first. Education focus and educated by. Well, let's give her to Gebhardt. Are you? Oh, you're terrible. No, Gebhardt. We're not going to do that. Get hosed. How about giving her to our daughter? There you go. So I was going to improve my hunter's lodges. And over here we are also going to add hunting grounds. So this is a military focused place, but I've taken options that also give us a little bit of money. Hopefully that'll play out well for us. We are now making 5 ducats a month. We have just under 500 gold. You know, things are going pretty well. Pretty well. We don't have any stress. Uh-oh. Kaiser Heinrich V is being attacked by Duchess Matilda of Tuscany. Quite ambitious of you, Tuscany. Taking on the entire HRE? You have about lost your mind. Who else are we at war with? You're insane. We're not at war with anybody else but you. That's a bold move, Cotton. Let's see how that works out. And look, here, it does look like Carinthia has... This is Carinthia, right? I don't know. It says Holy Roman Empire across here. X. That's what I needed to do. No, here's Carinthia. I don't know. I guess this is part of it. No, it's the Duchy of Swabia. This place is huge. And I guess that's what's being contested for. I don't know. Oh, no. The HRE is... we don't have this. Just finally starting to kind of piece together basic map stuff. What's wrong with him, man? He's a flagellant and he's wounded. I don't know if you're long for this world, man. We have become known as the Peaceful. My liege, have you heard what they call you? My steward Enrico says to me while folding his arms. They call you Count Rambaldo the Peaceful. Can't we all just get along? That's funny. Spectacular, is it not? It's on the lips of peasant and noble alike. A cause for celebration, I think, Enrico exclaims with a cheery tone. I can get used to this. Look, the drunk has a drink. All right, let's hit pause. We are in the fall of 1084. We're going to go ahead and save it here. Look at this. We're making 5.4 ducats a month now. Our construction project just finished up. So let's get something else going. Can we plus up to level 3? Yes. Wall towers act as excellent vantage points, allowing our soldiers to snipe away at approaching armies safely. When not at war, They're excellent to gloat at peasants from. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's terrible, man. 0.55 ducats a month, +3 fort level, -3 danger, +450 garrison, +300 supply limit. Oh, no, we cannot because we are missing the keep building and the battlements innovation. Has a keep building. Wouldn't that be part of this? Or is that a separate? No. Jiminy Cricket, man. We should probably have Murex Fisheries in here. Huh. I might have to change. Because look at that development growth. That might have been a kind of a serious error. Okay, well, I am trying to figure this out, but I don't see keep on here. So is that an innovation? I mean, it doesn't read that way. It says it's a building. But then I don't see it in the options. Unless it's barracks. I don't see how that would be the case. I don't think so. Alright, well that's something I maybe have to look up. I might do that as soon as I end this episode. Probably should. This is going to run into the same issue. But for right now, we can at least upgrade it. Over here. We could upgrade our, we could upgrade to a trade port. You know what? I think we're making pretty good money. I want to keep the defense. Maybe in the future we'll convert. Or we'll replace the sick house maybe. And put that over in Treviso. I don't know. We may have some options. But for right now, I'm going to stick with things as they are. And just keep the extra defense. We'll upgrade that. That cost us a pretty penny. We're now down to 100 gold. Okay. Let's hit save game. Alright guys, again, I'm Aesop Grimm. Thank you for coming by the channel. I hope you like what you saw. More importantly, I hope all is well in your neck of the woods. And I'll see you in the next episode, where the story continues. It's you. You're half of you are mentally ill. The other half of you are sociopathic. You make trashy games that nobody wants to play, that's full of more sermons than it is good gameplay. It's your fault. Everybody hates you. Get used to this.
I've got a lot to say, can't hold it in this time. Got no filter, I got no filter. 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 No filter, I got no filter.
my side, the MAGA world order is loving this. We did this to you, by the way. And we want all the credit.